In today's video, I'm going to show you how to finish building this epic slingshot rifle. Alright guys, so the next step in the process of building this rifle is adding the stain. Also, don't forget to wear a respirator because this stuff is really bad for you. This is what it looks like after the stain. So the next step in the process of this rifle is making a notch in the top of the stock to put the barrel. Okay, so I finished carving out this notch for the rifle barrel. This is going to be my rifle barrel here. It's just a thin-walled pipe. I put some clamps on there, and now we're just gonna have to wait a good 48 hours, and that should hold really well. So I finished making my 1/2-inch notch. That just went in there, and it was pretty easy to carve down that little slot. You could drill it out with a 1/2-inch drill bit, but I think it's more accurate to do it with a chisel. So here we are on the bottom of the gun, and I'm just gonna start carving out another notch on the bottom. Okay, so I finished carving out all the notches. I don't know if you can understand what I did, but on the top we have the 1/2-inch notch. On the bottom we have, I don't know what size notch it is, but a smaller notch. But the smaller notch connects to the bigger notch, or overlaps, I should say. Okay guys, so to make the trigger system, you're gonna need to make a piece that looks like this and a trigger that looks like this. So this is a different, earlier model of my slingshot rifle, and pretty much what happens is the pouch of the slingshot gets put over this nub, and then once you pull the trigger, it lets go. So after taking out both the trigger pieces, we're gonna pretend that they were in their normal slots, but we're just gonna put them outside of the gun instead of in the middle of the gun. So these both spin freely, and pretty much what happens is this clips in like that, and then when you pull on that, it's applying force in this direction on this little nub, and when you pull the trigger, it pulls the nub out of the way, releasing that and letting it spin. Okay guys, here are the two finished trigger mechanism pieces. I'm finished. So I'm just gonna drill a hole right where I want it, and then I'm gonna drill through the gun stock as well. Done. Now we have a tiny little hole. Okay, so I finally got everything where it needed to be. I don't know if you can see that, but it took me 3 tries. So now I'm just gonna drill the hole for the other trigger piece, and then I'll show you what it looks like once everything's set up.
Also, one thing I forgot to mention is that when finding out where to put this trigger piece, it was a great help for me the last time I did this to set up the trigger on the outside of the gun so that I can visualize where it's going to be on the inside, and from there base where I'm going to drill my hole, and that helps me to see where everything should be. Alright, so I finally got this to the point where it works. You can see if you put pressure here and then pull the trigger, it should...
Okay, so now that we've finished the trigger mechanism of our slingshot rifle, we're going to start on the slingshot part of it, down this end. So the first thing you're going to want to do is get yourself a heat source. You're also going to need some 1/2-inch PVC. Alright, so after a few minutes, I think the PVC is heated up enough. So we're just gonna take it and try to shove the pipe in. And it fits in nicely now because the PVC is all hot. So once your fitting has cooled off, you're just gonna cut it. So once you've cut it, that should now fit into your white fitting. So once your PVC is nice and warm, you're just gonna take it and put it into the white fitting, and then you're gonna bend it up. And now we're just gonna cut it off right here. Yeah, we're gonna make a second one of these.
So now, if you attach everything together, you should have something that looks like this. So this video is not about how to cut your band set. There's plenty of videos on that. Just go onto YouTube and search up how to cut bands for Slingshot.
Now I'm just going to repeat that on the other side.
Oops.
Hey, I did it! This thing has some extreme power, so if you build this, please be super careful with it.
Alright guys, so there's a thing of polyurethane, and it's all dried up, so I'm going to shoot it and see how far it penetrates.
Alright, let's take a look at the damage. Alright guys, thanks for watching this little series of 2 videos on how to build the Slingshot Rifle. I had a ton of fun with it. I think it came out looking super awesome and functioning really well. If you build this, I think you should be extremely careful with it, because this is super dangerous, and you have to treat it like a real rifle, because this could seriously injure someone. So please be careful guys if you build anything of this sort. So please don't shoot anyone, and thanks for watching. Hope you like and subscribe, and don't forget to watch my next video, which will be all about shooting this rifle and adding some